Hey there, everyone. I hope you're doing well. Hi, the Raider here. So, I'm trying something different compared to my usual videos, and I really hope you guys enjoy because it was pretty fun making this. Just a heads up, there will be some spoilers for bringing you my top 5 PlayStation 4 games that I played this year, and I'm just going to be clear with you guys on this. The games in this list are games I played and not games that came out this year. Just a little clarification of what it is. Most of these games did come out this year, but I think I have one that it came out a while back and just look forward to it. But also, this is just my opinion of what I think is the top games this year, or in general, games I played this year. So if you have a different opinion, totally cool. Just let me know in the comment section what games you think I should have been playing this year, and I might check them out in the future. Also, I'm going to be putting footage of myself playing these games for you guys, but I might be putting in there some of the photo mode pictures that I take in there from my Instagram account, so you guys can see kind of what I do on the Instagram side. So yeah, here we go. Number 5, Spider-Man Miles Morales. So this game came out super recent in the PlayStation 5 launch, but it was also on the PS4, which is what I played it in. And I know there was some criticism to the shortness of the game, but I think it's still one of the better games that came out this year, at least from what I played, especially since it's like, it's fucking Spider-Man. Who doesn't like Spider-Man? Well, subjective to a person's opinions, right? This game is the Spider-Man adventure that follows Miles Morales in his debut game following Peter Parker's Spider-Man back in 2018. What I loved about this game was the variety that gave Miles his own unique abilities. The story starts around Christmas time, and it just felt like a great time to release this game because it is December or as of recording this video. And Christmas hype, right? I know it's been a rough year for everybody, but there's always something to look forward to sometimes, right? Some hope. Insomniac Studios nailed the essence of the fighting by adding both the bioelectricity and the stealth invisibility that Miles is known for. I've been following the Insomniac games for generations now. I've played a lot of their games, such as the Spiral, Resistance, Ratchet and Clank, and if you haven't tried those games yet, I really suggest you do because they're some of my most favorite childhood memories, teenage memories. I've been following them for a long time. Let me tell you guys a little bit about the combat and how fluid it is with the combos you can create with the finishers, the gadgets, the abilities with the bioelectricity, invisibility, which lets you just disappear, obviously. But it just gives you such a great depth into the combat that you can just do so many things and fight in whatever way you want to fight. You want to just use gadgets, go for it. You want to just beat the shit out of them, most likely gonna do it, right? There is a lot of positive things you can say about this game, and it deserves all the credit it's due. There was some minor things that I didn't like about the game, and I guess it's just me nitpicking rather than like, oh no, the game's horrible because of this, right? Because the game was still great. It is great. Now on to some of the things I find a little bit lackluster inside the game. So like the shortness of the story, and even if you do everything inside the game, which I already did, I'm going for the platinum, and it fell short. I know not all games need to be this like 90+ hour games, but I guess me being an RPG fan, it kind of like you play a 4-hour game and you're like, man, in an RPG we're barely getting out of the intro on that, which I know this isn't an RPG, but still it's kind of hard not to compare it to the longer games that still have so much in them and so many things to do. With here you got like the limitedness of like you find the time capsules, you liberate the enemy hideouts and such. And there's really not that many hideouts to begin with. I think there was only like 8. So yeah, another thing that I feel could have been a little bit better was like the interactions and how much they showed certain characters. Like, you had the phone calls while Spider-Man was swinging through the city, and like it's great, but they could have had more interactions. You know, like in the original, they had Peter Parker talk to people face to face more often, and it made you feel a bigger connection to them. And I saw that with Miles, you only see them so often. You know, you do this, you have this cool interaction, like in the Christmas night. You had that family dinner, and you had Genki, you had Finn, you had his mom, and you had Miles, and it was a really great chemistry between all of them, right? But then you only hear them later on, kind of for a long while, just swinging. I would have loved to see like a few more side missions with each character rather than just like main missions, and then just get to the finale pretty quick. If they could have done like little side stuff where you interact with Genki, you interact with Finn a little more, that's not included towards the final progression of the story, just to give you more attachment to these characters, I think that could have been really great. And I know I'm nitpicking a lot. Like, I've said more negative, I think, than positive, or like my downsides. But that's because I truly believe this game could have been even greater than it already is. I understand they were probably doing it on a time crunch to get it out on launch date, and they didn't have enough time to do everything they probably wanted. So I'll give them that benefit of the doubt, right? But I just wanted it to be even greater than it is, you know? So yeah, that was number 5, Spider-Man Miles Morales. I hope I didn't rant too much about the negatives because I truly enjoyed this game. I think it's in my list for the top 5, right? So yeah, on to the next one. Number 4, Ghost of Tsushima. And I feel like this game and the last game could have been way higher in the list, but when we get to the next ones, you'll see why they weren't. Before everybody kind of just like, what are you talking about? These games are way better than the games you're talking about. Like I said, my opinion. Moving on. Yeah. So this highly anticipated game was definitely worth the wait. Because I know it did get I think it got a delay. I'm not too sure. I might look that up in a little bit. But in this game, you play as Jin Sakai, a samurai who takes part in repelling the Mongolian forces. And the first part of the game, it shows the ruthlessness of the Mongolians, how they adapt to fighting against the samurai. They learned their culture. They learned everything they possibly could at the moment, so they could repel them. Not repel. So they could destroy the samurai and the Japanese inside of the island of Tsushima, so they could go into Japan and invade, right? So the first stop would have been Tsushima for them, and once they have that place, they have the strategical advantage of taking over Japan, or so that's what the story led us to believe, right? I'm not too sure. I don't know much about like wars and strategic points and shit like that, but it seemed like that's the direction they were taking it with. After the first battle on the beach, most of the samurai were decimated. They were destroyed just by the ruthlessness of the Mongolians. And Jin Sakai is left for dead. But he survives because someone, not going to spoil that part, saves him. And they start developing this relationship, but not in a romance kind of way. Like it's a relationship he starts building with her. So I'll say that, and honestly, I'm having a hard time remembering. But like she saves his life, and it starts off a chain of events in which he starts building a small force that eventually starts getting bigger and bigger and bigger to start repelling the Mongolian forces, even if Jin feels like he's doing most of the heavy lifting. He's sneaking into strategic points. He's making the decisions on what to do, where to do it. But man, this game just blew my mind. I mean, where to even begin? Well, I already began, but yeah. Uh, but she wasn't the only person he builds bonds with. Like I said, he has a teacher, the archer, who his side quests take you on to find his one of his students that he was training, and she joins the Mongolian forces, and he takes it upon himself to stop her, right? He asks for Jin's help. He agrees with the exception that the teacher would help him repel the Mongolian forces. Then you have a monk. You have the wife or widow of this one samurai that fought in the beach. I'm blanking out on the names, and I'm sorry about that. It's been a while since I played the game, even though I keep posting pictures on my Instagram. So I'm sorry about that. But yeah, this game was amazing. The artisticness of the game was just phenomenal. The photo mode, which they're still improving. I recently went back to the game not a few weeks ago, and or was it a few days ago? It might have been a few days ago. I'm losing track of time. Uh, they added different features to the photo mode, so now it has way more little details you can do to change the game photos that you're taking, right? So I might go in there, just let it have another go, and get some more photos in there for my Instagram for you guys. Honestly, I can't even think of like negative things. Oh wait, I can. I shouldn't. uh, there was some things like I guess I burned myself out when I started playing this game. Like I was playing it nonstop for a long time, right? And like you immerse yourself in this game, and it's fucking gorgeous. It's beautiful. There's so much to do. But there was times like the birds would take me to places I've already been, which I found a little bit annoying because it would make me backtrack to things I already did, and it was just making the game. I guess it not a bad thing that it made the game longer, right? But it just got tedious after a while, or like they took you in a path that you couldn't go. Like going up a mountain and you can't even climb the mountain, and you're just like, what am I supposed to do? Like Spider-Man ended up there. But it was just like it's all these little nitpicks, right? Like both this one and the Spider-Man Miles, like amazing, great games. Thus why they are on my list for the top 2020 games for me. And you know what? I'm gonna leave it off right there for the Ghost of Tsushima for you guys. Number 3 is gonna be Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory. And this one, I'm not gonna lie, it's a pure biased in the sense that I love Kingdom Hearts. It's like my favorite franchise right next to Final Fantasy. And like I'm always like conflicting on which one is my all-time favorite franchise because I love Final Fantasy and I love Kingdom Hearts, and it's like Square Enix. They got my money. No doubt. They got my money. They spew out any random little thing, I'ma get it. It's shameful to admit, but it's true. um, so this game does two of my favorite things in one. We get the summary of the whole Kingdom Hearts story. It's a pretty vague one, but it's well enough that you can understand kind of what's going on. So if you haven't played one through all the other little extra ones, you can play this game, especially if you enjoy rhythm games. Like you play this one, and it's going to explain the story pretty well, right? Then you could just play 3, and some things will make more sense. You'll be like, okay, okay. Even though it does explain 3 a little bit, but obviously it's better to play the actual games to get a even better understanding of the characters, their motivations, who they are as just people, I guess, or characters in general. But yeah, no, the rhythm part of this game is phenomenal. I've been having a blast getting the platinum on this one since I have the platinum on all the Kingdom Hearts games. This is the last one I need now, and I've had to play a lot of the songs, get a lot of the full chains, and the Proud mode is just awesome. You know, like not a lot of people like rhythm games and they don't like the spin-offs, but for me personally, this was like top tier side game, I guess you can call it. But at the same time, it kind of like pushes you towards the next phase that is Kingdom Hearts. I'm gonna assume four, but it could be wrong. Could be more spin-offs, right? So this game kind of goes into Kyrie's past and towards the future, which is what I really like. It kind of sucked though a little bit that it was only towards the end that we got to see all that. It would have been nice if we saw tidbits of everything that kind of went down on why she chose to do what she did on the Kingdom Hearts 3 DLC and why she was stuck there for a year. But we still got a little bit of the resolution and explanations that we were looking for somewhat. You know, it's Kingdom Hearts be like that. I'm not gonna lie. I'm still kind of confused as to what's going on. Like, I feel like I understand one thing and another thing just kind of just like derails. But I am gonna leave it at that with that game for now. And let's move on to the next one. So, my number two is Uncharted 4, which I know didn't come out this year. Like I said at the beginning of the video, well, technically it's only like one game that didn't come out this year, which was Uncharted 4, and like I don't even know where to begin with this one. Oh, I know. I'll start with what took me so long to play this game. Like I'm really angry at myself for not starting this game in sooner. Like I first came into knowing of this franchise around the Uncharted 2 series, and this was like years ago. Like I think it was like months after Uncharted 2 came out, and like I had never heard of Uncharted before. Like I've played Naughty Dog games before and Crash. But yeah, no, like it took me forever to start this game, and like the nostalgia. Because recently I rebeat Uncharted 1 through 3 on the PS4 collection, and I kept stalling on part 4 for the longest. Like I actually owned this game like years ago, and I would always tell myself, like, oh, I'll just start it later. I'll start it later. I'm sure I'll enjoy it. I'm sure I'll like it. Like I love Drake. I love his quips. I love his humor. I love everything about that character. It's one of the most well developed characters I've seen in a long time. But recently, I was like, you know what? It's time. It's time I finally beat this game. And as soon as I started it, like the nostalgia started hitting me. It started hitting me. You see him in his 9 to 5 job. You see how he just settled down with Elena, and you're in the attic, and he's kind of writing down about some job that one of his coworkers tells him about. And you start seeing all the different like little mementos in a sense, where he has like all this collection of everything he's been getting from all his adventures over the years. And like memories just started flooding back as I was walking through his attic, and you just start seeing little things from Uncharted 1, the gold coins of El Dorado. Uncharted 2, you see the journals from each adventure, and it just started reminding me of why I love this series so much, right? Then you have like this little fun little, I guess, little segment. I was gonna say mini game, but it's more of like a segment where he has like a little Nerf gun, and he's shooting like all the bad guys from the previous games and these targets that are hanging from the ceiling. And I was just like, and just his little answers to when he's setting everything is just awesome. Then his brother comes back, right? A brother that we had no idea even existed until this game. But you start seeing the relationship they had growing up and about the orphanage, about their father. They talk about his mom, and like I'm not gonna try not to go into too many spoilers, but you guys just gotta play it if you haven't already. I'm sure most of you are like, you're barely playing this. I've been done with it for years. But man, yeah, check it out. It's amazing. Hope you guys enjoyed as much as I did playing it, which I'm still trying to get the platinum for that one too. I don't know if I told you guys in other videos, but I do try to go for like platinums and shit a lot. Not a lot, just special games that capture me, you know? Alright, now on to the number one on my list. I hope you guys are enjoying this because it's my first time attempting any type of list. And as you can tell, I kind of just ramble on certain subjects. But yeah, number one, the Final Fantasy VII Remake, which, my opinion, should have won Game of the Year. But I'm biased, so. And I didn't play on The Last of Us 2. Because I know Naughty Dog does good games. They do great games. Especially recently, you know? But here we go. The moment I've been wanting to talk to you guys about this game. So many people have been waiting for it to be released or announced in general. Like for years, everybody was kind of looking forward to the Final Fantasy VII remake announcement, and everybody was just speculating. You know, like everybody wanted it, everybody needed it. Not just wanted, we needed it. And I will say this on an unrelated note. My first Final Fantasy game was Final Fantasy VIII, not 7. So I don't have the nostalgia that most people have for the Final Fantasy VII franchise. But yeah, Final Fantasy VIII was the one that got me into just this franchise in general. Since I've probably played, let's see, I'll just name out a few for you guys. I played Final Fantasy X, I played 8, I've played 4, played 1, beat 7 recently before the remake. Tried 12, wasn't too into it, but I've been planning to replay it recently. 13, I never got to play the other two parts of it, but I did enjoy 13. I know it's not a very liked one. I played the MMO of 14, 15, and now the Final Fantasy VII Remake. And I played a bunch of the spin-offs. Like I played Crisis Core, I watched the movie of Advent Children, and I had never played Part 7, which is kind of funny. But yeah, and Tactics, by the way, on the PSP, I played the War of the Lions Tactics Final Fantasy. Badass game, loved it. Which you can get Cloud in there, by the way. I don't know if you guys knew about that, but which I never did, but I know I could get them, and I failed to do so. Getting off topic here. So Tetsuya Nomura is an amazing director, in my opinion. Like I don't follow a lot of directors when it comes to games, which I probably should know who's making my games. But Tetsuya Nomura, you know, the Kingdom Hearts franchise, Final Fantasy VII Remake director for this. He's been making some of like my childhood basically for me, because I started playing Kingdom Hearts 1 when I was like 12, maybe. And like the most memorable scene for me, I don't know why, is when you're in Halloween Town and you're fighting Oogie Boogie when he's the giant house fusion thing. And I couldn't beat it when I was a kid. I was like, where is, because you got to beat these orbs on Oogie Boogie. And I could never, ever beat it for a while. I was stuck on it for like a week. And I just remember the joy I got from defeating him. Because I didn't even own Kingdom Hearts 1, actually. It was one of my cousins. And they wouldn't play it much, but they wanted me to beat it for them. So I would go over, play it, and try to beat it every now and then. That's why it took me a week. Then again, I was 12. I'm not the greatest gamer. I don't know if you've seen from my playthroughs. I make easy mistakes. I overlook things, but super getting off track. Sorry about that. Honestly, experiencing this game felt like I was right at home, since I love everything Final Fantasy, everything Kingdom Hearts, like the monsters from all the franchises. And I do remember, because I recently beat part 7, like I saw a bunch of the enemies. You know, you see the Tom Berry, you see the Bomb, you see Malboro, you see a Behemoth, you see Bahamut, you see so many of the summons. Like, it's just phenomenal. By the way, Ifrit, or Ifrit, I don't know how people say it. I'm sorry if I butchered it, but I say Ifrit. He is my favorite Esper summon, Aeon, whatever you want to call him. Like, or the G4s, the GFs from Final Fantasy VIII. Favorite summon ever. Anything fire related, I love it. As you can see from that Pokemon Fire Team Challenge I played. The music is just phenomenal. It's amazing. It's like, it feels classic to me, you know? Classical. I believe it was directed or composed, better yet, composed by, I hope I don't butcher these names. I'm sorry if I do. Nobuo Uematsu, Masashi Hamatsu, and Mitsuo Suzuki. Mitsuzo. I'm sorry. But them three, if they are the ones that compose everything, it's like, it's top notch. I've been wanting to go to the orchestra that travels around the world. Like, I've had opportunities and I hate myself for not going because I love the music in any Final Fantasy game. Back to the enemies. There's this VR challenges where you can fight a lot of the enemies and they have some secret bosses. And I'm not gonna get too in deep into them because I don't want to spoil it for anybody that has not played it yet. But the hardest challenge is on one of the VR challenges where you basically go on like a boss gauntlet and you fight boss after boss after boss. And one of the bosses, let me just tell you, it destroyed me for a while. And I think I was like max level, best gear, the whole shtick, you know? But it's just so gratifying finally beating it. And I think I beat the hardest one in like a 13-minute on my best time. Beating all the bosses, it took me like 13 minutes total. I'm not too sure. But I'm going to end my rant there. I love this game. I love everything about it. I hope the next parts are going to be amazing. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video because it was pretty fun to make. I'm not going to lie. I hope I can get some of the photo modes so I can show you guys some of the game pictures I've been taking inside these games. And I'm gonna stop rambling now. But if you guys made it to the end of this video, I appreciate it very much. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I know it's not like some professional grade list that some other people make. I'm just starting to try new things on videos to make for you guys. I've been trying to make like a Try Not To Thursdays, where I try not to laugh while watching and recording. And I've been trying to add a camera so you guys can see my reaction and how I just am in general when I'm playing games. But yeah, I hope you guys are staying safe. It's some crazy stuff going on out there nowadays. Drink your water, get your rest. We'll all be okay, hopefully. And I'll just see you guys next time. See ya.